Hello. I'm still adjusting this music stand. How do I always get the one that's crooked? See how the room is like tilting this way? I think it's the legs on the music stand. Right, that doesn't want to go down any further. Let me try this. How's everybody doing tonight? Can everybody hear me okay? Can you see me okay? Who is here with us? All right. I am having a good week. Last week I was a little bit on the edge of overwhelm, and this week is not feeling quite so that way. I'm not liking the camera angle much, but I don't know that there's much I can do about it. Maybe that a little better. All right, who's here and how's your week going? And is there anything special that you want to watch tonight? Hey, Casey, and is this Mama Dean? Hi, and Big Bear Homestead. Hey guys, how is everybody? I'm glad to have all of you here. I am doing really good actually, and last week was kind of tough. I was kind of in a rough place, but it seems to be this week has been a little bit better, and I made some changes in my schedule. I gave myself some more flex time in my work schedule, and it's helped. Even though it hasn't been, like, I haven't felt the effects of it yet because I'm still working quite a number of hours, but just knowing that I cut back a little bit, just like the knowledge that I did that and I made that decision and it's okay to do it, helped so much with the feeling of overwhelm. And I think a lot of times when we feel overwhelmed, or maybe I should speak for myself and not say we too much, but when I feel overwhelmed, I think a lot of times overwhelm is a sense of out of control or lack of control, that things are happening and moving along, and there are things we have to do. So I'm actually going to talk about that a second. I need this behind my back. I have to sit kind of forward so I can see. And once again, I don't have my glasses, so I'm going to be like peering like this every time I want to go back and read somebody's comment. I do want to say hello to a few people who've popped in. So Big Bear Homestead has been pulling fences all day. That is such hard work. Miss B in the house. Hello, Rebecca. Good to have you here. Teresa, hi. How did we fare through the storms? Actually, we fared really well. I know that Jay from the Grateful Soonites was without power for a while, like more than 24 hours, I think. And ours kind of flickered on and off, but we were fine. There was the biggest disturbance we had was my little dog Oakley, who doesn't like storms, and she normally spends the night in a dog kennel, like a 4x4 fenced area in the utility room. And when there's any kind of wind, lightning, or thunder, she barks and lets us know that she's not comfortable out there. And so she ended up at the foot of our bed, on our bed, and then shivering, and she wants to sleep right on Chris's face. So then I spend the night trying to keep her by my hand so that at least one of us gets a restful night's sleep. But considering that there were some tornado touchdowns from Highlandville through Sparta, I would say that's about 30 minutes from us, so not very far from us. We fared fairly well. All right. Yeah, and I kind of go back and forth about whether to drug her or not, but I'm kind of considering it because we don't sleep much when she gets like that. And Chickenlandia is in the house. Hello, Dahlia. So good to have you here. And Mama Dean said, we picked up a trailer load of chickens and we had alpacas brought to us. Wow, that's a lot going on all at one time. Now, have you had alpacas before? Because they're a whole nother ball game. I didn't realize, who was I watching? I don't know if it was Pine Knot Farm, Family, Homestead, whatever their channel is, Pine Knot or Square One. But they did a video about why they don't have alpacas anymore and all the extra care, because they're different than goats and cows and sheep. They need different environment and things, and how hard it is to find a vet that'll care for them and that kind of thing. So that's a lot. So I'm sure you guys will do fine with it. I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm just like, ooh, that's a big change. And let's see. what we got going on. Teresa says, my ex-husband in Willow Springs lost all the outbuilding and barn on his farm. It spared the house, thank goodness. I have been out there helping today. Wow, that's a lot. That is a lot. All the outbuildings, that would be devastating. Were the animals okay? And was there any hay in there? Like, did it ruin a bunch of hay because of that? And then Rebecca asks if I have tried a thunder jacket for Oakley. I haven't. What I did try one night was I had a heavy top quilt, and I sleep with like layers of blankets. I don't like dogs in my bed. I know some people don't mind their animals on their bed or in their bed. I'm not a huge fan of it. But I did stick her under the top blanket and put my arm on her to try and simulate that heavy feeling of a thunder jacket, and that didn't work. But I might be willing to try it because it's not fun. And you know, it's southern Missouri, so we get rain and thunderstorms quite a lot. So there's quite a few sleepless evenings at our house. My dog Chewy is really super smart because he knows he's not supposed to get up on the bed until after 5 in the morning. Like once I'm around the time where I'm about ready to get up, he'll come up and he'll put like one paw up down at our feet and wait for us. And usually I just like go, and that means it's okay for him to get up, or else I'll be like, nope, it's too early, go back to your bed. And he'll climb up and he'll curl up and he gets as close to Chris as he can get because he knows I don't want him in my space. And then when I leave, then I make the bed and I call him over and he's allowed to lay on top of the covers. But you know what that smart little Mr. Dog does? And Dahlia can vouch for this because I've actually sent her photographic proof. He will wait until I'm gone, like for the day when nobody's home. He'll go climb on her bed on my side only. He has never done this to Chris. He will paw back the covers and lay down in the sheets with his head on my pillow. It's disgusting, all that nasty dog hair in my sheets. He's crazy. He's crazy. So I have a lint roller and a vacuum, but most of the time I end up changing the sheets. But if I don't have a clean set of sheets, it's like nasty. Why can't he do that on Chris's side? Chris probably wouldn't care. Don't tell him I said that. He might be watching, but I don't think he would care. But to me, it's like one of the nastiest things. And why my side? Why? What is it about me? He's Chris's dog. Chris loves him. He obeys Chris, but he wants to sleep in my sheets. Why? Why? All right. Hey, Elizabeth Branscombe is here. Hello. And Teresa says he didn't have any animals. He just has brush hogs. Thank goodness he slept through it and he didn't go to the shelter because it peeled the roof off and was full of debris. Wow, that's crazy. I haven't ever heard of that happening. Yeah, that would have been horrible, horrible. We didn't sleep through it, but we didn't take shelter either, but we were kind of like sleeping off and on. So it isn't there like tornado season? I think that's the fall, right? I don't know. I've lived here 5 years. I should know by now, but I'm not really sure. So we got that going on. And also I was hoping Mom H from Honey Hollow Homestead would be in the live stream tonight. She had the, what's that road show? What is it? Prepstetter Bob does, is it the Homestead Roadshow? I forget what it's called, where they travel around and they pick up where they travel around and they help out homesteads and then they video it. Do you guys know who I'm talking about? Anyway, they were at her homestead, and so I had watched their live stream that they did while they were there, and I just was hoping to chat with her about it today, but if she's not here, I'm sure she'll leave me a comment. If you guys don't know Mom H, her channel used to be Mother of Many Horses. Yes, Self-Reliant Roadshow. Thank you, Red Shed. Yeah, it's Self-Reliant Roadshow is what it's called. And she moved last year to Kentucky and has a new homestead there. And she brought a couple horses with her, and so that's what's going on there. And I saw somebody else. Oh, so the Red Shed, is it Diana? Is that right? And then the other thing that I wanted to ask, are you the one that asked me about New Zealand red does? Because I have the 3 New Zealand red babies, and 2 are broken and 1 is a full red. And but I don't know if she's a doe yet. She's about 4.5, 5 weeks old, maybe 5 yesterday, 5 weeks. And I took a peek today and I really can't tell. But I know that one of you guys was really interested in a New Zealand red doe. So I will, if she turns out to be a doe, keep her aside and we can talk about that. Yeah. Oh, Elizabeth, the little black and white ones are adorable. Did you see the one with the little the mustache, like Charlie Chaplin mustache? So thanks, Dahlia, for stopping by. So everybody, if you haven't seen Dahlia's channel, welcome to Chickenlandia. She's pretty amazing. She knows a lot about raising chickens and caring for chickens and all of that. And she's been around a while in other venues. She has a blog and other things, and her YouTube channel is fairly new, but I consider her an expert in the field. So if you're interested, check out her channel. I recommend it. I turn to her a lot. I send her a Marco Polo. What should I do about this? So that's one of the great things about YouTube, isn't it? How we all have advice for each other and help for each other. All right, let's see. Oh, you have babies due Friday. Fun. They're selling butchered rabbits at our farmer's market this year. $18 each. Where is that? Is that Willow Springs or West Plains? Because I know Kevin and Sarah, when they were selling them on the square here, they were $8 each. So $18 each is pretty good. We are going to butcher our first litter this weekend. I say we. Chris is going to butcher our first litter of rabbits this weekend. And once we become more proficient at it, we probably will start selling the meat as well. We haven't done that. This is our first time butchering rabbits. So I want to have a really good procedures in place and make sure that we're doing everything in the most healthy, most efficient way. And so she's at Red Shed is asking, have I ever eaten rabbit before? And I have. So before we decided to raise rabbits, we bought rabbit meat from Kevin and Sarah, and we loved it. We absolutely loved it, which is really good because we also, Chris took a deer the first year he was here, maybe the second year, and I didn't care for venison at all, which was really strange. I thought I would like it. I seem to have memories of eating it as a child, but it was just way too gamey for me. I didn't really care for it at all. And I've heard you can soak it in milk and that helps. But Chris wasn't really crazy about the butchering process. I wasn't crazy about the meat. So we probably won't do a lot of venison unless we get to a point where we need to. But right now we don't. And the rabbits, however, we all loved the rabbit meat. It was really, really good. A lot of people say it tastes like chicken. We grilled it with barbecue sauce, and to me, it tasted like a grilled pork loin. Like it had more of that white meat texture, like pork did. And in fact, when Carter was home last weekend, I told her that this coming week, or I said, we're going to be butchering these rabbits soon, the ones that were in the tractor. And she's like, ooh, are we going to grill one? Like she was all excited. I was like, we probably will, but you'll probably be back at college before that happens because it's not till next week. So I think it tastes a little more like pork, but I have also heard it tastes like whatever recipe you use it in. So if you use it in place of chicken, then it will taste like, chicken enchiladas. If you use it in place of a pork recipe, like, I don't know, fried pork, something, rice, fried rice, pork fried rice, whatever, then it will taste more like pork. So there's that. There's that. So you're raising them, but you haven't ever tried it. That's pretty bold. We're really happy though, because since Chris can't eat chicken, Chris has gout, and chicken is his biggest gout trigger by far. And he, so we don't eat chicken meat, and we eat turkeys, but man, those turkeys were a lot of work to butcher. If we do turkeys again, we will not raise them that big for sure. It was more out of necessity than out of wanting to have big turkeys. I didn't even have bags big enough to bag them. We had to portion them up and then freeze them in portions, which is probably good considering there's only 2 of us in the house. So we eat turkey, but the rabbit. All right, am I back? I had a phone call come through because once again, I forgot to do the do not disturb before I started the live stream. So it looks like I'm back. I still see the clock ticking. I hope you guys are still here. Give me a thumbs up emoji or a comment or something, and I'll keep talking until then. So that's what's going on with the rabbits. What else? Our Mama Silky and her babies are doing great. We've had some nights that have dipped down right around the freezing mark, but we have them in one of the tractors, and we have the house end of the tractor. We've got hay in there for them, and she just cuddles them up at night, and they're doing just fine even at these cold temperatures. Speaking of the rabbit tractor, I don't know if you guys all follow me on Instagram or on Facebook, and I posted a picture of our rabbit tractor that we made. We've been kind of evolving the design of it, and I think we have it where we want it. And so when the video comes out, probably this weekend or next, I have another project in the works that I'm really excited about. So depending, I'm timing the release of one of my videos based on Little Mountain Ranch and when she releases one of her videos. We're going to release them the same day. So depending if she does that this week or next week, then the rabbit tractor will be, the opposite weekend. And when we do that, we are also going to offer a free plans for how we're doing our tractor. So we've made several modifications. We kind of started off of Kevin and Sarah's basic plan from when they did their Meat Rabbit series, and then we've made a few changes that we feel like really make it better. When I went to visit Filer Farms, that's Pfeiler, I think it is, Filer Farms up in Kansas City, and I pulled his rabbit tractors around and I saw some of the things that he had done with his tractors. It gave me a couple ideas, like, sorry, I bumped the thing. I definitely needed wheels on mine because they get kind of heavy when they have a lot of metal on them. And some other design changes that we made, and then just some things that as we thought about it and as we worked through it and based on, the amount of rain we get and everything, we made some design changes. So far, really, really pleased with it. So the basic thing that keeps our rabbits from digging out of the trailer is we have 4x2 hardware cloth on the bottom. So the spaces are about that big, maybe like that big. So they're I can't even think. The holes in the wire are too small for the rabbits to climb through. So I put them in there at 6 weeks. And by that time, the bunnies are bigger than that wire, but the holes in the wire are big enough that the grass can still come up through it. If you put wire with much smaller holes, then your grass will have a hard time coming through. So that's probably the main difference between our tractors. But we are going to give those plans away for free, and we're just going to ask people that if you feel they were useful after you get it, that you can make a donation to my PayPal account. And any donations that we receive always go back in the farm, as well as any money that we make off the ads on YouTube, we also put that back into the farm. And I just spent my last YouTube check on something that will be coming in November. So I'm very excited about that. And I see a couple more people have stopped in. Lisa from Two Wild Onions is here. And Willow Forest Gardens, hi, thanks for joining us tonight. And I'm sorry, Willow Forest Gardens, I do not remember your first name if you have told me. So if you don't mind sharing that with us, kind of helps me. I really try to get people's names down. I don't always remember, but I work on it because then I'm not just talking to a farm, I'm talking to a person, so that's kind of nice. Melinda. Okay, hi. Have you introduced yourself before? That seems familiar, but I don't remember. Where are you located at? So what else is going on? So we got the rabbit tractor, we've got the Silky Mama with her 9 babies, and they're fantastic. We have the rabbits growing out. Oh, okay. Yeah, hi. Okay. Mel Solomon, I recognize that name. That makes sense. Oklahoma City. Very cool. Oh, I know what we can talk about from Oklahoma City. That reminds me that my father-in-law, most of you know the story. I'll just a short recap. He had open heart surgery a month ago today, and he went home from the hospital last week. So he had a bunch of work done. He was on the operating table, I want to say, like, I forget how long, but it seems like it was like 7 or 8 hours. And then about 4 days after that, he had to go back in and have a second surgery because of complications he was having in his bowels after the first surgery, from scar tissue that was just there. It wasn't from the first surgery, but there were some problems, so there was some follow-up surgery. So he went home last week, and he's doing good. So thank you for all of you who have been praying, and please continue to pray for his recovery. His first name is Fred, so if you guys want to pray for him, we appreciate that. And if you want to see him and what he's like, earlier this summer, maybe in the spring, we did, Chris and I did a tour of the log cabin that he built by hand in Bow Lakes, Oklahoma. And I think the video is titled something along the lines of 70-year-old man built this amazing cabin or something like that. But my mother-in-law and he did an interview for us while we filmed that. So if you want to see who he is, you can go take a look over there. All right. Let's see. So I think tonight, my question for those of you who are still with us is, what kind of planning do you do in winter so that your garden will be successful next year? So I am really trying to hit the ground running this year because I have felt every year for the last few years that I am chasing the garden, that I am chasing the months, that it sneaks up on me, and then I don't have time to do the things I need to do, the preparation, the planting, all of that. So how do you guys plan out your year? Do you have any planning tools, tricks and tips? Tools, tricks, and tips. That's a hard thing to say. To get your garden plan. And I know, Lisa, you have an amazing garden there at Two Wild Onions Homestead. Tilling, weeding, composting. Okay, I can do that. I want to get ahead of the game on the planning, and I don't want to, I want to have a plan in place, even though I know plans change, and nothing is set in stone, and weather affects things, and life happens. I understand that, but I want to at least have like a rough plan so that I can do so I feel like at least I know when I should be doing stuff, as opposed to like, oh, it's October, oh, what happens, or oh, it's May, I missed all the March and April planting. What do you mean I'm supposed to be in the garden already? What? That kind of thing. So do you guys have any favorite tools that you use to plan out your garden and keep track of stuff? Do you use a notebook? Do you use a calendaring system? So Elizabeth, I may try that. I may plant some winter wheat. And do you just get the seed at your farm store? All right. So Melinda says, make a garden plan, prep beds in fall and winter when it's cool enough to get out there, and put the dates on the calendar. Okay. So how do you plan your garden? When you say make a garden plan, then do you mean you're planning what you want to plant where? Or does your garden plan also include things like, this week we're going to plant half a bed of ABC? Or do you put on there things like, you know, start this indoors and that? Okay, thanks, Elizabeth. I saw that. So that's the kind of thing I'm working on. Does anybody have a software they like? Does anybody have a garden design software, like where you can move stuff around? I've seen a couple things out there, but you know, it'd be nice if it was free, because free is always better, right? So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I have a calendar already. I have a planner, and I've been looking at it. I also bought some colored pens because I'm trying to a little bit implement the bullet journal into the calendar. So I was thinking I might do color coded, like, you know, farm stuff green, work stuff blue, but then I'm also afraid of making it too complicated. So I want it to be complicated enough so that, not complicated enough, simple enough so that I will use it, but also detailed enough so that I can refer to it later and see how I did. I know, I think Rebecca, I don't know if you're still watching, Miss B uses a bullet journal. I probably need to watch some videos on that. Okay, so Kathleen says, I use grid paper and draw it all out, then I plan things based on companion planting. And Melinda says, design the beds, and this year I'm using a calendar to tell me dates that I'm filling in planting dates. Okay. And how are you determining the planting dates? Like, do you just look at the seed packet, or do you go online and use a resource? And then how do you guys decide how much of each thing that you want to plant? Because I don't know. And I would really like to do some succession planting, some companion planting, and also, I don't know what it's called, like staggered planting, I guess, so that you can do, like if I'm going to have a carrot bed, but do, you know, some this week and then either a week or 2 weeks later this bit, and then a week or 2 weeks later that bit, so that not everything comes, I don't know if carrots was a good example, but so that not everything comes right at the same time. Because when I did 2 years ago, I did my CSA style garden, but nothing was ever all ripe at the same time. And then like all of my tomatoes were ready all at once, you know? And so I had like all tomatoes or all onions or all of this, rather than having some onions and some tomatoes and some cucumbers. I don't even know if those even come ripe at the same time, but you guys probably get what I mean. So that's succession. I thought succession planting was when you had like carrots in a bed, and then when they were done, you pulled them up and you planted something else. I thought that's what succession planting. Does succession planting mean both of those things? I don't know. Okay, so you said, hi Smith Family Ranch, thanks for joining us tonight. So Melinda, you said online, so you just like go look at like a Google search, or do you have a site that you refer to for your planting dates? So we're talking about garden planting and preparing now for what I'm going to be doing in spring. Hello, Howie. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, if you just popped in right now, I'm just kind of talking about what kind of things I should be looking at now and thinking about now, so that I can prepare to plant my garden in the spring and not feel like I am always behind on everything. I want to at least have a basic plan in place. Even if I don't follow it 100%, I would love to have at least enough of a plan so that I have an idea what I should be doing when. And I think I'm going to put it on a calendar as task items. I've been watching bullet journaling videos. Are any of you guys familiar with bullet journaling at all? If not, I can kind of briefly talk about what that is. Hey, we've got a few people just joining us now. So we've got Kathy and Howie and Cranky Babushka. Hello, friends. Thanks for joining us. And Smith Family Ranch also joined pretty recently too. Thanks, guys, for stopping by. All right. The Botanical Interest Seed Catalog has a great chart in the front as well. Oh, that's interesting. And then Google. Okay, that's good to know. So I'm talking about how next year I really want to be more prepared with my garden. I want to plan things out so that, like if I have, I'm just going to say peas, that not all of them are ripe all at once. Like plant them, you know, some this week, some next week, some that week. So things like that. So I'm just trying to find resources and tools to help decide what to plant, where, and when, and what can be started outdoors and what needs to be started indoors. It's, you know, thinking about it can be a little bit overwhelming for me because there's so many things. I did start the other day just jotting down foods that I like to eat, vegetables and fruits that I like to eat, and what do I want to grow. So I kind of have gotten a little basic thing going. It's a lot of information, but next year that's my goal, to really up my gardening game. So I was thinking about it today, and I actually almost feel like I'm almost a homesteader now. And I know that's weird. I'm having a really bad hair day. I'm not loving this hair. I ordered some new hair product though, so we'll see how that works. Sorry, I got way distracted there for a second. Because of the rabbits. I think it's the rabbits and the bees. When we first started our homesteading journey, like those were two things that I really wanted to raise, was rabbits and bees. Well, you don't really raise bees, you manage bees so you can have honey. And so this year I've got honey and rabbits, and I just feel like I'm actually doing this thing. Like it's the first year where I thought, you know, I think we're going to be okay at this. I think I'm going to get there. Whereas every year before, I really felt like this could go either way still. Like, oh man, and I know that where I am now, I still feel like such a novice at gardening and livestock care and all of that. And food storage, and you know, the list goes on. There's so much more to learn, but I kind of feel like I've crossed some kind of a threshold this year. Hey, Danny from Happy Farms, Louisiana is here. I was just looking at your video earlier of you were pulling out tomatoes and planting in, was it garlic or onions? I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I saw it when I was getting on YouTube, getting ready to do this. So I will check that out later. Cutting potatoes for dinner. Yum, hello, thanks for joining us. Kathy starts everything indoors. I found that squash and pumpkins do well direct, so interesting. Yes, grow what I will use and what I will eat. So that makes sense. Yeah, so I do feel like I've crossed some threshold, some invisible threshold that I didn't even know that I was approaching, where now I'm kind of like, okay, I'm doing this. I'm actually doing this homestead thing. We're producing most of our own meat right now. And you know, if I can get the vegetable gardening under at least semi-successful, then I'll feel like I've made giant leaps and bounds. And then I think food storage is going to be my next big hurdle. So the gardening and food storage are two of the things I'm going to work on next year. And making the whole farm more productive and profitable. Those are like my key words, productive and profitable. Gardening and food storage. So I did a little tiny foray into canning this year, and that worked out pretty good. There's going to be a video coming out pretty soon that shows my little tiny bit of canning that I did. So yeah, so it's kind of weird. Like, have any of you ever had an experience like that where you didn't know necessarily that you had reached a milestone until you hit it, and then you're like, oh, yeah, I crossed a milestone. Like, for when I was running, my first milestone was to run a 5K and then to do a 10K and then later to do a half marathon, right? So I really didn't even know that half marathon was a goal until I'd already done a 10K, and then I was like, I can maybe do a half marathon. Well, I knew that I was striving for 5K, right? But I didn't know that there was even this invisible finish line, not finish line, but like mile marker that I was going to pass this year, but I did. And I really honestly think it comes down to having a successful rabbitry going and harvesting honey. Like those two things, I feel like check, check. Like I'm a homesteader. I have rabbits and honey. And I don't know why it feels that way, but it's such a very satisfying thing to be able to produce those own things for my house. More than the eggs, more than, I guess maybe because chickens just feels like a hobby farm. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but those two things just make my little heart very happy and very satisfied with this life that I'm living. And I just want to do more. But really the gardening is going to be the big thing. So Howie, I'm going to be watching your channel a lot. And all you others who are out there doing gardening, all the gardening things. And thank you, Danny. That's very encouraging. She says that I'm doing amazing. So yeah, when I look back, 6 years ago, we were in Los Angeles and suburbia and not even interested in gardening or self-sufficiency or anything of that nature, and to see where I am now, it's a complete 180. So I kind of joke that Chris and I both had our midlife crisis at the same time, and fortunately we both chose homesteading. So we didn't go off in different directions. We decided to have it together, and so that worked out well. So you know what I was thinking about farming today? I was thinking about farming and homesteading, that most of it is drudgery. That most of the day-to-day stuff really isn't interesting for filming. And that most of what goes on the farm is just, carrying another bucket of feed, forking another forkful of hay, pulling another weed, dragging another hose, pushing another wheelbarrow, just like over and over and over. You know what I mean? Like it's just so repetitive and so redundant. And today I was cleaning out rabbit water bottles, and I was just so excited because I have been looking for a bottle brush. I bought a bottle brush at Walmart, and it was too fat to go in the neck of the rabbit bottle. And so then somebody, April from Grace Junction Homestead, suggested that I use a wire bristle, like a baby bottle, a baby bottle brush with like the thin twisted wire instead of the fat plastic thing like they had at Walmart. So then I was on the hunt to find one of those. I finally found one at Town and Country, and boy, I was just so excited today to be out there in the rabbitry in the nice weather. It was like 70 degrees out. It's supposed to get cold and rainy tomorrow, but I'm gonna enjoy the 70 degrees while I can, and like cleaning out rabbit bottles. And then I have that one that like gets all the sides and the bottom, but then right around the rim where it comes down, like the neck of it where it gets thinner, I had like a pipe cleaner or a straw cleaner one, and I had it like bent at an angle this way and then bent at an angle this way. So if you imagine, this is the neck of the bottle, and then the little spout on the bottle, this is the neck, but it's like shaped like that, right? Like, but taller. And it comes down, and then the little holes right here. So I had the thing bent just right, so it would like scrape along here and get all the gunk out of there. Because I don't know how, but it gets nasty stuff inside there. And so I like cleaned all that out, and I was just so happy to have clean rabbit water bottles and to be refilling it and to clean out the chicken waters. And the chicken waters have been getting icky too, so I had I have more than one. So I had one that I had filled up with bleach water to let it soak and get the gunk out. And so just, you know, kind of doing that kind of stuff. So even though it's drudgery, it's still like, I love it. It's fun. And so I saw a couple people pop in, and I also saw a comment or two. So I'm going to just scroll up and see. Yeah, so a couple of people say my garden looked great. Well, thank you. Thanks. It was hard work, but I would just wish I could have saved all that corn because that was kind of sad. Pam is here. Hi, Pam. Thanks for joining us. Yes, farming is hard work. After 50 years of gardening, I'm still learning due to the weather changing yearly. Yeah. Yeah, I by no means think that I'm going to learn it all in a year, but I'm going to really focus on it. Both my rabbits escaped, and now I feel like I'm less of a farmer. Honestly, after the shock, I realized I was tired after 2 years of caring for them. Oh no, that's sad. I'm sorry that happened. Kathleen can relate. She has rabbits escape sometimes. Hey, Arrow Ridge is in the house. Hey, Jessica and Jess and Jeremiah. Hi, how are you guys doing? Thanks for stopping by. And then Danny says if you buy the silicone straws, they come with a tiny bristle brush. Perfect for rabbit water bottles. Yep, that's what I got. That's that one that I twisted. Ah, and Mom H is in the house. All right, you made it after all. Woohoo! I was talking about you earlier, and I couldn't remember the name of the Self-Reliant Roadshow. I was like having a brain moment and like, wow, what is it? But somebody reminded me. So I just watched the video today, the live stream, and I'm just gonna like out you right here on on my live stream. You guys should hop over and check out Mom H at Honey Hollow Homestead. Mom H is MOMH for Mother of Many Horses, and she is amazing, and she gave us a lot of help when we were having some problems with our horse. And so I'm just going to say yes, that if you can find a way to make horse training, horse rescue, horse something profitable for you, or if it's a nonprofit, at least have it be like enough that you can get a paycheck from it, then I absolutely think that you should go that direction. I think he's absolutely right in that manner, but I just don't know the details of how it all works and how, I don't know how realistic that is, where you are and all of that. So, but I definitely think that's something that everybody would be interested in watching on your channel, and I think it's something that you would probably enjoy doing, and I think it would be a great service. Or if not like rescue, then some kind of like therapy, like animal therapy, where people pay and you get kids around your horses. All right, so let's see what else we got going on. All right, Arrow Ridge says, cleaned up the farm and gardens today, getting ready to butcher turkeys this weekend. So excited. I had help butchering my turkeys, and I wasn't that great. I wasn't much help. It was a day. It was a big day. I have a hard time with the butchering part of this homestead thing. But Chris and I kind of have a deal that for most of the animals, he'll do the butchering. I do the raising, he does the butchering, and the big animals we take to the butcher to be done for us. Because that's what works for us for now. That's the hardest part for me of animal rearing. I have a very low gag tolerance, and like I gag brushing my own teeth. If someone across the room is blowing their nose, I feel like I'm gonna gag. I have a very, I start gagging very easily. I gag at the dentist. I mean, it's just bad. It's just bad. Let's see. Yeah, I think, all right, so Mom H says then the money would be if for YouTube, from YouTube. So, you know, that's a hard thing to say because of the fact that YouTube is the way it is. So you may or may not make money from YouTube, and if you're not making money from it on YouTube, then you're going to be spending a lot of time working with horses that you could be working on your homestead. So I think you have to really decide the benefit, like the cost, the cost in time that it's going to take to do it. So does it pay for itself, and do you enjoy it enough to spend the time that's going to take doing that it would need to really do it right? So, but we can talk more about that offline if you want. You can always email me or message me on Facebook or whatever. So Jessie says, I enjoy the old-timiness of it, not the killing. It makes me think of how my grandma used to live. Yes, so I am very much all for raising our own animals for butcher. Like I just have a personal problem watching it, and it's not even necessarily the killing part as much as it is like the odors and the guts, and like especially with the birds, and you have to reach in there and you have to get your hands in there, and when Chris was processing a deer and the girls were both helping, I mean, these are teenage girls, and he brought it in quartered. It was meat already when it came in the house. There were no guts involved, nothing. And we were packaging some of it, and we were grinding it into like ground venison, and just being around the smell of it, I kept having to excuse myself and like walk to the other side of the room and be like, breathe some fresh air, and be like, it was just horrible. It was horrible. And that finally the girls were like, Mom, just go upstairs and do something else. Just go fold some laundry or something, because you're of no help here. So, and I think April and her girls kind of felt the same way, that I wasn't much help with them. But with them, it was for other reasons that I wasn't helping. It was like my mom came over and I had to go do something with her, and then we had like a water fountain going off in the house and all that. Yeah, not a farm girl still. Not a farm girl. So that part's still hard for me. But I want to do it. If I ever went on one of those challenge shows where like Fear Factor, where they make you eat something weird, or one of those survival shows and you have to eat something weird, I couldn't do it. It would be over. We would lose. Like whoever's on my team would lose. So don't ever pick me for a survival show, because not gonna do it. I just can't. I don't have a strong stomach at all, which is sad. But I will say I'm willing to eat anything if I need to. And Chris laughs at me. Because I say, you know, if it comes down to it, he's like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do if you're in that situation, if you're trapped in underground because of a cave-in and you got to drink your own pee, what are you going to do? And I'm like, well, if it comes to that, I would do it, but I'm not doing it today. And he's like, if you can't do it today, well, nobody's going to drink their own pee today, but, you know, like butchering. He's talking about if you can't butcher today, what happens when the grid goes down? If you can't butcher an animal today, you're not going to... I'm like, if I have to do it, I will find a way. I will overcome. I will do it. I'll wear a mask so I don't smell it, whatever. You know, so it's kind of funny. He likes to tease me about it, but that's the way it is. I'm like, it's just tough. So as long as he's around to do the butchering for me, we're going to do it that way. Chris is a lot of fun. He's very funny. He is always funny. That's like the saving grace in our marriage, because he loves picking on me. And then he loves watching me try not to laugh, because he's just hilarious. I really want to get mad sometimes, but it's hard because he's so dang cute. Yeah, so good luck butchering your turkeys. Sorry, I sound so funny, like when I'm talking about how awful it is, and then I'm like, okay, go have fun. Oh, that's so funny. And somebody was like, we got alpacas, and I'm like, ooh, alpacas, ooh. I'm such a Debbie Downer, and I don't even mean to be. I'm really sorry, guys. I don't mean to come across that way at all. So that's about all that's going on here. It's been a really nice conversation. Do you guys have any questions? We haven't done questions at all tonight really much. I mostly ask the questions, I think. Yeah. Yeah, Debbie Downer is kind of right. Like, my family used to call me Jackboot the Dream Crusher. Because I would almost, like, my first reaction to something is like, oh, no, we can't do that. No. It's really, I've tried really hard to change. I'm trying to become more of a risk taker and enjoy life and adventure, but my inner nature climbs up sometimes still. Let's see. Yes, Danny, thank you. You're so kind. You're my favorite. Just don't tell the others. Kate, hi. You are a bit late, but that's okay. Thanks for joining. I'm glad you're here tonight. So Kathleen says, have I cleaned my garden for the winter yet? I have not. I looked over at it today as I walked by and I thought, I need to get that cleaned up. And I want to put something over the ground. Well, maybe if I grow a winter wheat, I won't need to. But I would like to put something, if I don't do winter wheat, then I want to put something over it so that so I don't get all the weeds coming back up before I'm ready to plant next year. Let's see. Do I ever miss California? Do I get homesick for California? I don't really. I don't. I miss the friends. I mean, there are some times when it's really cold here where I'm like, oh, I miss 70 degrees and sunny year round. But I really had no idea how much I would love rural living. I had lived in the city most of my life, and when we lived in California, when I would post on Facebook, I was in Southern California in the Los Angeles area. Chris worked at Fox at the studios. He did satellite engineering for the broadcast side, and I was an interpreter still. So we were about probably like half an hour from the beach, half an hour from Disneyland, an hour from the mountains. I mean, it really is beautiful weather. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of downsides, there's a lot of traffic, there's a lot of taxes, there's a lot of stuff. But we did really, I loved it there. And I had grown up in not Washington, I never lived in Washington, California, Oregon, Alaska, and then I went to college in Louisiana, and then we moved to Los Angeles from there. And so my tagline on Facebook was like, I heart my sunny SoCal life. Like, I put that all the time when I was like, it's winter, it's February, and I'm at the beach today, you know, that kind of thing. So I loved it so much, and I never even had thought about rural life until 6 years ago when we decided to move out here and try this thing, try to grow some of our own food and raise animals and be a little more self-sufficient. And I just love it so, so much. It's absolutely amazing. I'm looking at the trees on my commute today, and the colors changing, and just going out there and taking care of the animals, and it really does make me happy. The drudgery of carrying a feed pail every morning, even though it's dark out, and filling up water tanks and collecting eggs. You know, I call it drudgery, but it's so peaceful, and I love it. The farm really is my happy place, and I had no idea. It was really like a roll of the dice, because we moved not having ever lived rural. I guess we could always go back to the city if it didn't work out, but we really weren't. We just like went all in. So I'm glad it's worked out, and that I do love it so much. Let's see. Average says, we're thinking of tilling now. We never get it done in the fall. We've never done it in the fall, but to get the soil all mixed in early. Any thoughts? I am probably not the expert on this stream to be asking the question. But I would say I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, I can't see any downside, really. It'd be done. If you do that, I would probably suggest then in early spring covering it so that if any weeds come up, then they die under the covering. And then, so I don't know if any of you guys have watched Curtis Stone, the Urban Farmer. He's in Canada, and he talks about how to kill off grass, and then till. So he tills once, a shallow till, I think, and then he covers it with something dark, and then as the sun warms it and the grass or whatever comes back up, then he'll like uncover it and do something to it. So if you're trying to kill off an area that's weedy, you know, sometimes you can do that. But yeah, a couple of people have mentioned that they do no-till, and I think no-till is best when it can be done that way. But you need lots of thick mulch, and you have to keep reapplying the mulch. And sorry, you changed your name on me from Norwood, Jimmy Seeker. Recommended Clyde's planter. I have that. I have it. I have the Clyde's planter, and I love it. I actually sent one to Kathleen too, so she has one too. So Howie, you're saying that you mulch every week? You go out and reapply mulch once a week? Is that what that once a week is about? And Craigie Babushka does mulch no-till also. Yeah, I have been working on doing no-till. I haven't tilled, and I think we tilled when we first, maybe 3 years ago. When we first cleared our garden spot, it was pasture. And then I haven't tilled, but I have fought weeds every single year. I've brought in topsoil and made, I made no border raised beds. So I made like 6-inch or 8-inch raised beds, but just like by piling the dirt. No, read the last comment before it. Okay, once a week. It says once a week. No-till is the best food production, Danny. We done once a week. And network. I don't know. I'm kind of lost in the comments. Sorry. All right. Good night, Howie. Thank you for stopping by. It's always a pleasure having you. Elizabeth said, all the farmers around here are harvesting crops and tilling the ground back. One of my students' families has 5,000 acres, and they till after harvest to help all the corn stalks be broken up. Then they burn the next year and rotate. Interesting. Yeah, so I guess it just depends on how big of an area you're doing and whether you're gonna, you know, what your plans are for it. That's my non-expert advice for sure. For sure. So I think we are now at the 58-minute mark, 59 minutes. So it's about time to go. Oh, and Kathleen, the music you're hearing, that's our youth band at the church, warming up. They have church service tonight. So that's probably one of the songs they're singing. In fact, I'm sure it is. I don't know why I said probably. That's one of the songs they're going to sing tonight. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me again, week after week. It's so much fun to talk to you guys, and you're kind of like a, excuse me, sorry about that. You're a good sounding board for me because I can bounce ideas off you and think things through and hang out, and it's really, it's nice. It's very nice spending time with you every week. So thank you for giving me some of your time, whether it's an hour or a few minutes. I really appreciate that each one of you stopped in to say hi and talk about stuff. And Jess and Jeremiah, can't wait to see you guys again. I don't know if maybe we can do something before Baker Creek, but if not, I will see you there for sure. And have a good week, everybody. And I will have a couple of videos coming out pretty soon, so be looking for those probably over the weekend and next weekend. Oh, and Elisha is just stopping in, and we are just on our way out. So hello and goodbye. Have a good week. You can go ahead and watch the whole video though on the replay. It should be up here in a minute. It takes a minute or two to process, I think, but then it should be up. Good night, everyone.